You're getting fined over grass. Why not just let me cut it?
Because the second it's gone, so is everything I've been holding on to.
Before I tell you what happened, comment where you're watching from. The trees and thick vines hadn't just grown wild. They had erased every mowing line that ever existed in that yard. What used to be a clean, carefully edged lawn, a place where every pass of the mower meant something, had turned into a suffocating wall of weeds. Grass wasn't just overgrown, it was out of control. It wrapped around the porch, crawled up the siding, swallowed the house inch by inch, like a green monster reclaiming forgotten ground. You couldn't see a single stripe anymore. And if you know lawn care, you know what that means. That lawn didn't just get neglected, it got abandoned. From the street, it looked like just another lost property. The kind of place where nobody's cut the grass in years, where the mower stopped running long before the weeds took over. I was standing there with my equipment, looking at what used to be a yard, trying to figure out how many hours it would take just to reclaim the first strip of grass. I reached for my brush cutter because at that point, this wasn't mowing anymore, this was recovery. I was just about to fire it up, ready to cut through years of overgrowth, when the front door, hidden behind a curtain of branches, slowly creaked open. That's when I saw him. He stood there in the shadows, thin, fragile, like a man who hadn't stepped onto his own lawn in a long time. His oversized shirt hung loose on him, like even his clothes had given up holding shape. But it wasn't his body that hit me. It was his eyes. He wasn't angry. He wasn't defensive. He looked exhausted, like someone who used to fight the grass every week and finally lost. In his hands, he held a crumpled piece of paper. I asked him straight up, "Have you been trying to keep up with this yard on your own?" He didn't answer right away. He just looked past me at what used to be his lawn, and that told me everything. He didn't yell, didn't ask for help, didn't make excuses. He just said he'd lived there for 60 years and asked me to leave. See, there's a kind of pride that comes with people who take care of their own lawn. The kind where your stripes aren't just stripes, they're proof. Proof you're still in control. Proof you still show up. And for Amos, that lawn used to be perfect. Every edge sharp, every line straight, every pass of the mower done with intention. Back when he worked for the post office, walking miles every day, he still came home and pushed that mower like it mattered, because to him, it did. But now, the only thing showing up at his house was notices. He handed me the paper, $2,5 fine. Hazardous vegetation. To most people, that's just a bill. But if you understand lawn care, you know what that really means. It means the system doesn't see the work you used to put in. It doesn't see the years you kept that grass under control. It doesn't see the identity tied to that yard. It just sees grass that's too tall. And a problem that needs to be removed or replaced. As we stood there, separated by what used to be mowing lines, his voice started breaking. He told me he made a promise to his wife before she passed that he would never leave that house. Because that lawn, that yard, that's where their life happened. Morning coffee on the porch. Evenings watching the sun hit the grass just right. Weekends spent mowing side by side. That lawn wasn't just grass, it was memory. But over time, things changed. His eyesight got worse. His hands stiffened. The mower got heavier. The yard didn't get smaller. And slowly, the passes stopped. The lines faded. The edges disappeared until one day, the lawn he used to control turned into something he couldn't even step into anymore. He told me he wasn't scared of the weeds. He was scared of what happens when someone starts cutting again. Because noise brings attention, and attention brings the city. And the city doesn't restore lawns. They remove problems. I looked at the yard, not as a mess, but as a lawn that had been waiting too long for someone to start the first pass again. Then I looked at him. A man who didn't lose his lawn because he didn't care, but because he couldn't fight it anymore. And I told him something simple. I'm not here to report you. I'm here to cut your lawn. He didn't believe me at first. You could see it, because when you've been fighting grass alone for that long, you stop believing help shows up. But I started anyway. First pull of the machine, loud, sharp, cutting through silence that had been sitting there for years, and then the first strip fell. Just one line, But if you've ever mowed a lawn, you know that first line changes everything because it means the yard is still there. It's not gone. It's just buried. Hours went by. This wasn't regular mowing. This was reclaiming ground, one pass at a time. Every section I cleared brought back a piece of the lawn he used to know. The sound of cutting echoed through the neighborhood, not like a warning, but like a signal. Something was coming back. I could see him the whole time, standing behind the door, watching, not hiding anymore, just watching. And slowly, as sunlight started hitting parts of the yard that hadn't seen it in years, something changed. The walls of weeds came down. The yard opened up. The lawn came back. Not perfect. Not clean stripes yet, but alive. By the time I finished, you could finally see the house again. And more importantly, you could see him. Amos stepped outside, onto a driveway he hadn't walked clearly in years. The sun hit his face, and he blinked like it had been a long time since he'd stood in an open yard. He didn't say much. Didn't need to. The way he grabbed my hand, tight. That said everything. That wasn't just a yard I cut. That was a man getting a piece of himself back. Because sometimes it's not about the grass. It's about what it means when you can't cut it anymore. If this story hit you, comment where you're watching from. And leave a for Amos, because no one should lose their lawn just because they can't push a mower anymore. Like, share, and follow so we can bring more lawns and more lives back.